episode of the Get the Top podcast. We got a lot to review and a lot to preview and hopefully an interview. So with that being said, let's get into it. Welcome back to the Get to the Top podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Horn, here with my co-host, Kevin Myrtle, a.k.a. Myrtle. How you doing today, Myrtle?
Doing pretty good. You, buddy?
Another day. So, with that being said, we first off need to thank all of our sponsors, S&S, Seal Cut and Driveway Repair, Jennings Property Solutions, Smith Farm Equipment Repair, and J. Edward Groom with Long and Foster Real Estate. Thanks for all their support. And I want to thank all of the fans for listening. Last week's episode did really well. Thanks for Booger Bear coming on. We have a giveaway to do today. We got to gather up some of those shares, and at the end of the episode, we'll announce the winner. It'll be posted on Facebook as well. I know we've been kind of advertising the Palms, but if some of our listeners are kind of closer to Stanton and would prefer the Bistro, let us know. We can do both. So the Bistro or the Palms for this week's. I know we announced the Palms, but if you want the Palms, you want the Bistro, we can do the same. Either one. So with that being said, we got a lot to talk about. Our headline is going to be the Tom Bear Memorial Race. We'll save that towards the end. So let's go ahead and start talking about Knoxville Nationals this week. And Bobby Pierce continues his dominance. He won the big main event at the Knoxville Nationals, but before we had that happen, we had some prelim nights. Myrtle, what do you got?
No, I just got the big show up.
Myrtle's unprepared.
I'm sorry, I'm trying.
He didn't know. Let me get to the prelim nights. I know Bobby Pierce won one of the prelim nights, didn't he?
Yes, he won Friday nights.
And then, no, it wasn't Hudson O'Neal. Jonathan Davenport won the first one, right? Yep.
Okay.
Jonathan Davenport took the win over Bobby Pierce, Hudson O'Neal, Devin Moran, Tim McCready, Dylan McCollum, Tyler Erb, Ryan Gustin, Brian Shirley, Carson Ferguson. That's going to be loud. So Jonathan Davenport, another hot name of the season. He keeps rolling. He won the first prelim Thursday night. Bobby Pierce
I got the
having a
second
great
one up.
weekend, finished second. You got which one you got?
I got the second prelim night up.
All right, Marvel goes to top 10 rundown.
Bobby Pierce, it says Pierce propels Bishop and Blair in Knoxville for prelim. Bobby Pierce won over Brandon Shepard, Max Blair, Devin Moran, Dalton Wilson, Daniel Hilsbeck, Jonathan Davenport, Garrett Smith, Hudson O'Neal, and Garrett Alberson rounds out your top 10.
A little bit of out of ordinary top 10 there. Not that those guys
aren't good, but
yeah, but it's like Max Blair, good run for him.
You have like the Outlaws took out the top 3, or is Max Blair back in Lucas Oil?
Max Blair's Lucas Oil, I believe.
But either way,
I think he's going to run. I don't know.
But you got number 1 and number 2 in World of Outlaw points, finishing 1-2 right there.
Yeah, it's Max Blair's running Lucas this year. Devin Moran, Lucas, Dalton, Hilseback, or Daniel Hilseback, or Dalton Wilson, then Daniel Hilseback.
Hilsbeck's been like off. They said he had an injury earlier in the year, so he's just getting back into it a little bit.
Well, good run to come back with. But the headliner is, of course, the final night, Knoxville Nationals. Bobby Pierce took the win on that one. Myrtle, do you have it pulled up?
Yes, I do.
All right, give us top 10 run.
He took the win over Brian Shirley, Devin Moran, Garrett Alberson, Tim McCready, Jonathan Davenport, Ryan Gustin, Chase Younghands, Brandon Shepard, and Chris Simpson.
All right, so your top 10 there. And this week, I think we've missed it on the way we've been talking about the points. I think we kind of messed up.
Yeah.
And Myrtle, you said there was some stuff going on, and that was actually the top.
Yeah,
four.
that was actually a cutoff race. I thought it was Pittsburgh was supposed to be a cutoff race, but I guess I might have read it wrong or something. But now with Tim McCready finishing above Huddy, Hudson finished 15th, Tim McCready finished 5th. There was only a 15-point gap between them. Somehow McCready sneaked his way into the top 4. So now the top 4 with points is Ricky, Devin, Jonathan, and Tim McCready. And they reset points, and they got 10 races left until Dirt Track World Championship at Eldora.
So they have East Bay coming up. I'm looking forward to that one. Pittsburgh.
They got Brownstown coming up this weekend, Atomic, and then Pittsburgh, East Bay, and then Eldora.
So we got plenty of racing action left. I believe it's 3 races at East Bay.
Yes, it's 1, 2, and 3 nights.
So they got that.
But how many of those are going to be championship night points, you know?
I would assume probably the last one because the Knoxville Nationals
was just the last one.
Because Thornton didn't make the show the first night, and they said they weren't doing provisionals. So I was sitting there watching in the shop, and Thornton was leading the B main, and he got a flat, and I was like, oh, he'd be all right, he'll get a provisional. And then as soon as I said that, the announcers came on and said, remember, no provisionals tonight. So I was like, well, I guess he's not getting a provisional tonight.
Yeah, he had a rough night that first night. I don't know if he had just had a wrong setup in. But they said they were running Mach 1 when Bobby Pierce won a heat race. He's like, I hope they slick his track off a little bit before features time. I'm tired of running Mach 1 around this place.
So a few other races going on this weekend. We have one in Kentucky at I-91 Speedway, and I just saw this and I wanted to make mention of it. Freddie Carpenter having a little hot streak now in the end of the season. Picked up last week's 10,000 win at Beckley, and now he picks up the 3,000 win at I-91 or 191 Speedway. Over Derek Fisher, Jared Hawkins, Tyler Carpenter, Keith Howell, Shannon Thorntonsby, Garrett McLeod, Avery Taylor, Albert Butcher, and Andrew Mayab. So the let me see here. September 21, earned 30,000 vehicle. September 21st. It said something. So there must have been another race on the 21st. So we'll look into that here in just a minute. But so keeping up, I just wanted to mention that keeping up a hot streak. Josh Dietz won the fast track race at
Richmond
over Michael Chen and Ricky Weiss. I know we talked about that a little bit. Hunt the front, I'll let Myrtle take that, but I'm going to scroll here and see what other things I want to hit on. Like I said, Freddie Carpenter won that big race. Latrobe went to Greg Satterley. He won over Ryan Montgomery, Kyle Lucon, Logan Zarin, and Jared Miley. It rounds out your top 5. It's a ULMS race. Let's see what the points are at ULMS. Michael Lake leads the points. Pretty good margin over Logan Zarin and Michael Montgomery. So that's pretty much, I don't know how many races they got left, but he's leading it with a good margin. Dustin Mitchell won at Fayetteville over Trent Ivey. Good run for Trent on the podcast. For us, we had Ross Bales 3rd, Adam Yarborough 4th, Dale Timms 5th, Ben Watkins 6th, Christian Thomas 7th, Benji Hicks 8th, Brent Roberson 9th, and 10th is Carson Brown, running out the top 10. Dennis Erb won the Dirt Car Supers at Pedroia.
At where?
At Peoria. I don't know. Peoria.
Peoria? Yeah.
I don't know. But Dennis Erb took the win over Jason Taker, Bob Gardner, Ryan Unzicker, and Frank Heckenast. So getting a win in I believe he's still in the Icon. So no, he's not.
No, I heard he dropped his stuff off and left it.
Okay, well, no more Icon.
No, I heard he lasted a couple weeks and got out of it. So.
Yeah, that car does look like his Rocket. Now I see it in the picture. So Dennis Erb back into his Rocket and picks up a win. So with that being said, I believe that's a few that we just wanted to hit.
I got Hunt the Front pulled up.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about Hunt the Front.
Friday night, it was a 2-day show at Thunder Hill, and Peyton Freeman gets an opener. So he led all 30 laps to earn his first career Hunt the Front victory over Tanner English, Brandon Overton, Sam Seawright, Ashton Winger, Josh Putnam, Trey Mills. Or no, I guess it's supposed to say Trey Mills. It says Trey Miller. I think it's supposed to be Mills. Shane Clanton, Jaden Frame, and Dalton Cook rounds out your top 10. And that was Friday night. And then Saturday, the big one, 15,000. Zach Mitchell collects 15,000 at Thunder Hill over Ashton Winger, Brandon Overton, Cameron Muller, Jay Scott, Christian Hanger, Dalton Cook, Shane Clanton, Joseph Joyner, and Josh Putnam. So.
And Overton started 20th. And he came to 3rd. Anything else on Hunt the Front, Myrtle?
Yeah, looking at points right here, Brandon Overton still leads. Well, actually, Ashton Winger now in second by about 100 points, 94 points lead over Ashton Winger. Then Sam Seawright is trailing Ashton Winger by about 16 points. And then you got Zach Mitchell in fourth by about 32 points behind Seawright, and Joseph Joyner rounds out your top 5 in points. Next race is October 4th at Talladega Short Track for a 2-day show, 5,015.
All right. With that being said, I know I mentioned the I-91 had a Saturday finale, 7,500 to win, and I found it interesting. While Myrtle was talking about the hunt at the front, I looked back on it. Freddie Carpenter won the first night. Tyler Carpenter finished 4th. Well, if you go to Saturday, and Tyler Carpenter won, and Freddie Carpenter finished 4th. So they flip-flop positions. I don't know if that was planned or what. And Jared Hawkins also was 3rd. So Tyler Carpenter, Derek Fisher, Jared Hawkins, Freddie Carpenter, Garrett McLeod ran out your top 5. So Tyler Carpenter picked up the 7,500 to win race at 100.
I will say, with both Carpenters, Freddie and Tyler both, they may not, like, you don't see them winning these big, like, 20,000 win races, but they're winning 3,000 to win plus every single weekend, it seems like.
They've won a lot, and they're doing pretty well for themselves. But with that being said, I know we've got to talk about the Tom Bear Memorial race, but I'll save it to the end of the podcast. With that being said, I think we're ready to preview some events coming up here this week. Myrtle mentioned we got Lucas Oil at Brownstown Speedway. Got points coming up for that, down to the top 4, so be interested in keeping an eye on that. Brownstown also has a Castrol race coming up here on the 25th. Today's the 23rd, so that's Wednesday. It's a Castrol Flow Racing Night in America race. And then on the 27th, the same night as the Lucas Oil race. So a lot of these guys are going to have to get a Brownstown turn around and go to Boot Hill Speedway for the World of Outlaws race, because I know, like Bobby Pierce, he's leading the points at Flow, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
They're going to have to do stuff like that. Other than that, we kind of got a slower weekend. World of Outlaws goes to Rocket Raceway Park on the 28th. Lucas Oil's 50,000 on the 28th. This is Saturday. I see a couple canceled events. Supers at Skyline, that'll be one to keep an eye on for the Carpenters. I'm sure they'll be there. Freddie Carpenter and Tyler Carpenter, I think, have both picked up wins there earlier in the year. East Bay's got 604 crates, 5,000 to win, something to keep an eye on as we get ready to head to. I told Myrtle earlier today, I don't know how different the track's going to be compared to what they usually run down there in January, February.
I wonder if it, like back in February, it's kind of cold, sun. Well, it's not cold, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's colder, sun don't really beat down on it as much. I feel like it's not dusty. But how's the tide going to change everything, too, at East Bay?
I feel like it's going to be similar, in my opinion, because it's November they're racing it. No, October. Yeah, so I feel like it's going to be similar. February might be a little cooler, but I still think it's going to be fairly similar, in my opinion. But if it's not, then it could be a totally different racetrack. Because we were talking about who do we think out of the top 4 will be the better ones to race, and the top 4, like out of the top 4, would be Brownstown, and Atomic, who would be the top ones out of that. And we were saying, like, Devin Rand probably be better here, blah blah blah. And I said, I don't know about East Bay, like who's going to be good there this time of year. Devin Moran, he's always run well there. But then you also have a lot of guys.
The Rocket One's always been good there, no matter who drives it.
And I don't care. I bet you there'll be a hell of a car count
with it being East Bay.
The last race at East Bay, so you were probably going to have a lot of people in there
that's not
that aren't Lucas Oil guys. So,
like I heard,
I'd be willing to say probably a non-Lucas Oil points guy's going to win at least one of those races, if not
at least 2 of them.
I mean, Tyler Erb's good down there. Ryan Gustafson's good down there. Dalton Wilson picked up the finale. I
don't know. This finale pays a lot more than that last finale.
It does. So I bet you he wants that one a little bit more. So I mean, Dalton Wilson's Lucas Oil guy, but he's out of the.
He's out of the chase, and he's not. Well, even with World of Outlaws, you ain't got to be in the chase to be out of championship contention.
Well, yeah, I mean, he could still finish fifth in the points, so you're still going to come racing battle because you could be fifth in the points, and
That's a lot of
pay
money.
difference. It's a good pay difference. So with that being said, yeah, they got the Brownsburg. So with that being said, I think there's not a lot going on. We got XR they canceled. Never mind. Let me get into early October. I think then we're just heading into next week. So October 1st is, yeah, that's coming up. I think that's going to be in between. I don't know if it'll be in between, podcast or not. But October 1st is when they go to Atomic for Lucas Oil. Then they go to the Pittsburgh right after that.
Pittsburgh will be next week.
Next Saturday.
Yeah.
So they have one in between on the 1st. I don't know what day that's going to be exactly. Let me look at
Hold
my
up.
calendar.
First is next Tuesday.
Yeah, so we'll have a podcast before then. Probably. With that being said,
Did you talk about? No, never mind. You did.
let's do a local rundown. I know I'm saving Tom Bear race for the end of the show, but local rundown. I'll let Myrtle lead it off with Natural Bridge final points race of the year.
Yeah, Natural Bridge. It's the last points race of the year. Most of your series, like me and him were talking about earlier in the day, most of your series are pretty much locked in. They show up, they make one lap of the race, they're getting the championship. But the only one that's really still close, 6 points, is the limited race, which is 6 points between Justin Williams and Joey Level. What do you think about that?
I think it's going to be. It just depends on how many cars they're going to end up having total for the event. Justin ran really well this week in Corey Allman's car, Dave Allman owned car. He ran really well in that car this week with the late models. But I think it just ends up depending on how many cars are going to be there. If it's not a huge car count, I don't think it'll be enough for them to separate. I don't know how their points really break down. I think it's 2.
I heard it's 50 points just to sign in, and then it's 2 points per position.
So I don't think it'll be enough. I don't see Joey Level finishing farther enough back, even if Justin won the race, far enough back to lose that. I don't know. I mean, mechanical failure, stuff like that could happen, but I don't think it's going to happen.
And then in the crates, Brazen Fulton has a lead over Ryan Adams by about 60 or 70 points. So I think he's pretty much got that settled in. Street stock, you got Howard Hall's got almost about a 90-some odd point lead over
Which is
Jesse
good
Murray.
for him because this week he did lose a distributor, so he was glad he had that lead.
Yeah, and then you got in the sportsmen's, Matt Duggins leads over Norman Dudley Jr. by about 50 some odd points. So maybe that's a little bit of a closer battle.
Where's Steve and John, our guys?
John is in 5th, about 300 points back, and Stephen Harrison is 7th, but he is about 400 points behind the leader. So.
All right. Well, with that being said, be sure to check them out. But then we also have a race at Potomac, 4,000 to win. Expect a lot of limited guys. I think this is going to be a good race for Potomac. Super guys and limited guys as well. I believe I will be going there this week, weather pending. I know the weather isn't looking the greatest, but I'm pretty sure I'll be there. I'm trying to catch a race at Potomac before. I don't know if they're closing or not. Well, I don't really know the official word, but I want to be on the safe side if they are. I want to go catch a race. So
Potomac's a little cool track, but it's a long way from here.
Yeah, it's not a place you'd think would be a long way, but it is. But I've always enjoyed going to Potomac. I haven't been there that many times. I think I've been there 4 or 5 times.
Last time I was there was 2021 for Small Car Nationals.
Yeah, I believe I was there I've been there 4 or 5 times, and that's it. So with that being said, also something to check out. I know we're getting ready to talk about the Tom Bear race, but if you're an older racer fan, I know Booper Bear ran a lot at Potomac, won a points championship up there. Tom, I believe, ran at Potomac some. Something to check out. Tyler Bear might. I don't know. No official word, no guarantees. But they did do a tribute scheme. It was on just display this weekend for the Tom Bear race, and he ran the B8 in the race. But they had a tribute scheme to Buzzy Walters on one of the cars. And I have heard rumor, not official, don't know, might run the throwback scheme this week. So
If you didn't see it on Facebook, look up either Tyler Bear Racing or Natural Bridge Speedway. A bunch of people got it posted from this weekend. It is a beautiful scheme.
And when asked about it, he said, I kind of want to run it like that because when we give it to Buzzy, Buzzy wouldn't have had a clean body when he raced back in the day. He said it would look better with a little bit of tire marks on it or something. So he said that. So might be running the Buzzy Walters throwback scheme at Potomac, which would be really cool to see. The car does look really well. The guy that does flop, he's actually working on some stuff for us with designs. He actually made some different sheet metals, like for the spoiler. So like you'd have to change this to race, but the spoiler's different, so it looks, and the windows are different, so it looks like an older car. It's still you can tell it's a newer late model, but the way he did that made it look like an older.
It looks like an
style
older,
car.
yeah, definitely.
If the nose was kind of a little bit smaller, it would.
If we didn't run the wedge nose on there, it would
It would
definitely
look very identical. So he did a great job on that. But if he were to race it, he's gonna have to change that back. I don't know if you probably could. I don't know if you'd want to, but you probably could do that. I don't know.
You can run, technically, the way the windows are in that car. The rules always state you can either have both open or both closed. So technically, you can still run it. I don't know how it'd run, but you can do it.
I don't know, but the spoiler's also smaller, so that wouldn't be illegal. I don't think.
No, it shouldn't be, but I
A
wouldn't run
bigger
it.
spoiler would be, but.
Yeah, spoiler's smaller, but overall the car is beautiful, I
Yeah.
would say.
So it would be cool to see that in action. If not, he still runs the iconic B8. So every week's a throwback scheme, I guess, in a way. With that being said, let's take a break. I think we're going to try to line up our interview or not, and we'll talk about the Tom Bear race. Oh, we got to do pick 'em. Let's do pick 'em. Pick 'em
Let's
reviews.
review it.
Yeah, review. Go ahead, Merle.
Well, I had Tyler Bear at the Tom Bear Memorial Race. Finished second, had a runner-up, so I did lose, but I'm not complaining about that. And then I also had, who else did I have?
Somebody at Knoxville.
Oh, I had Mike Marler winning in Knoxville because I know he took the week off before the World to get ready for it, but he didn't. I think he finished 14th, so.
And
Kinda
I had Logan Roberson winning the crate race.
He
Picked
didn't
the
show
wrong
up.
Race. He didn't run. He didn't race. And then who did I have for? I think I picked.
You had Rouse for Fayetteville.
Did I? Okay, so Michael Rouse for Fayetteville, and that went to Dustin Mitchell. With that being said, and there was one pick I thought about picking Bobby Pierce, and he.
Yeah, he second guessed it. He's like, I don't know about Bobby Pierce. Like, Bobby Pierce is, I don't know if he's going to go to Knoxville. I don't know how well he runs. Nah, I'll go somebody else.
And he won.
Yep.
So, $70 this week. Myrtle, first pick. Go ahead.
Mine's wait about 12 seconds.
I got one. I don't
Go
think
ahead
you're gonna
with it.
pick that. Tyler Carpenter, Skyline Speedway this week.
That is a hell of a pick. But I think go Rocket Raceway with the World of Outlaws. Give me Bobby Pierce.
That's cheating.
That's not cheating.
You think Brian Shirley would go to that World of Outlaws race?
He's in the points.
Brian Shirley. Which one? I'm gonna root against Bobby Pierce and Myrtle this week. Rocket Raceway, whatever. What is it? Rocket Raceway?
Yeah.
Rocket Raceway, Brian Shirley.
Um,
He's the only one that's been beating Pierce lately in the World of Outlaws, so.
I don't
Do you want to do
gamble.
3 to try to see if we can finally get a winner, or do you want to leave it at 2?
Leave it at 2.
All right.
I think I'm gonna gamble with the weather a little bit,
Oh yeah, you still got one more.
and I'm gonna go Potomac Supers, the 4,000 win at Potomac. Give me Kyle Hardy.
Kyle Hardy. Now I want to let you know he's been driving other people's cars because his supermotor blew up.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't know if he'd be racing or not. I'm sure. I'm sure he'll probably find a ride, but or he'll get his stuff back together. I don't know. I'm pretty sure his car blew up.
Well, that doesn't sound like a good pick. So maybe Trent will
I'm
pull,
not
maybe Trent Ivy will pull through with me on this one. Golden Owl's got a Southern All Star race, 7,000 to win.
That
If
Hunt
Trent-
the front run this weekend. Well, he pulled out of the front.
He pulled out the front, and he was at Fayetteville this weekend. So maybe he'll be at Golden Owls. He's good there.
Okay, there's your pick'ems. Let's take a break. Try to line up an interview, and we'll talk about the Tom Bear Memorial Race coming up, or that already came up. It already happened. So we'll talk about that. Me and Merle were both there, and so we'll be back. Back on the Get to the Top podcast. We just, we've explained how we record some stuff, and we were unsure about the interview, but we got Logan on in the interview. Just recorded that. It'll be after this segment. But let's review the Tom Bear Memorial Race. Merle, can you pull it up? We've been having some mic issues with it plugging and unplugging. So I'm going to leave my phone just sitting still. So Merle, can you pull us up the rundown of the top 10 whenever you get a chance? But I want to...
night for the crate side?
Yeah, so start on Friday night. Crates. 1,200 to win crates. We'll do the whole event. So street stock.
I got it all
You
on
got
Race
it all.
Pass.
So we'll run it all down. So go ahead with the 1,200 to win crates was the Friday night headliner.
Yeah, Walker Arthur ended up picking up the win over Samuel Bryant, Tyler Hoy, Corey Allman, Justin Williams, Ronnie Martin Jr., Bobby Thompson, David Watts, Sean Walker, and Sean Wetzel was your top 10.
And I believe Merle was able to catch up with Walker just for
Just a
quick second. He was getting ready for the race, the Steel Block race the next night, but Merle was able to catch a quick word with him.
Hi guys, Merle with Get Top Podcast. I'm with last night's winner, Walker Arthur. Walker, how you feel about tonight after winning last night?
Since we got here and looked at the racetrack, I think we're going to be in real good shape. We're going to try to run the same car we did last night, so we'll go out here and see what we got.
Hey, I was looking at the racetrack a minute ago when I walked over. It looks hard, not like it did last night. The only thing different, it doesn't look like rubber's there anymore. How fast do you think it's going to rubber again?
They're going to have to work on it throughout the night, or else we're going to run into trouble, I think. But just got to get started and see how it goes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was Walker Arthur kind of talking about leading into the night with his win the previous night. Good run for Walker because he ended up getting into a crash about
Halfway almost.
halfway. A lap car spun in front of him and ended up taking him out. Or didn't take him out, but did a lot of damage to the car.
Knocking Deccan about halfway to the cockpit.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough crash, but he was able to prevail and take the win. Myrtle, give us, I believe we had street stock as well.
I got Sportsman pulled up.
Sportsman, you go with Sportsman. We had Sportsman running.
Picking up the win, his first career win in the 602 late models was White Coffee. Behind him was Michael Ayers, Samuel Hamilton, Bryce Varr, Jacob
Blair.
Oh, you got it. Jacob Level, Stephen Harrison, Ricky Fox, Blake Brown, Roger Roberson, and Shad Cooper.
And I want to mention White Coffee's first win. It was a very good race. He took the lead on the initial start, led 7 or 8 or 9 laps. Then Michael Ayers got by. Is it Michael Ayers or Chris Ayers?
Mike Ayers, number 8 Cowboy.
Fucking bug on your chair, Myrtle.
Oh, it'd be alright.
All right, so Cowboy Ayers took the lead, and then Wyatt ran a very good race. Didn't panic, and lap traffic got past and get all over the place. And he figured out how to kind of get by this lap traffic, and Cowboy got stuck behind some himself, and then Wyatt was able to run him back down. And I'm telling you, he put it in there in one corner and got back to the lead.
You said you watched the race. I was trying to get our driver ready for the crate race, and you said it was the first race all year you've seen go flag to flag without
First
a caution,
race in my life I've seen go flag to flag.
which is awesome with that class, especially with it growing and expanding right now.
I mean, it's 20 cars. How many cars was in it?
It was It was 19 cars.
19 cars. So I mean, good field of cars, and they ran flag to flag. So they did have a caution on the initial start. I think he just didn't like the start, called it back, redid it.
But I mean, that happens. I'd
But
rather
then
see
after
that.
flag.
That's
No
awesome.
caution, no crashes, nothing. So good racing from all the drivers in that class, and of course between Cowboy and Wyatt. Then we had street stock on Friday night to round out the Friday night. I believe they were the first feature, but go ahead.
Yeah, Adam Breeden took the win over Earl Brooks Jr., Keith Herron, Tony Breeden, Dylan Thompson, George Pierce, James Newton, Tony Johnson, and Logan Campbell. The other two did not start, so only 9 finished.
And Howard Hall, like we mentioned earlier in the podcast, leading the points, he had a distributor issue, I believe. So
It also helped. Like this weekend was home track rules for street stocks and crates.
it was a non-points night.
It was a 9 points night, and then Adam Breeden and Tony Breeden, they both run Saluda. I looked at their cars. They had the Sportsman, Thunder and Sportsman. So, and he's always been fast at Natural Bridge back in the day. He used to run Natural Bridge all the time. So, and they missed hot laps. They were late for hot laps. Didn't make hot laps. They just had qualifying to hope and pray they got good times.
Well, there you go. So good run from him. Well, that leads us into Friday night. The Bandits had practice Friday night, and then we got caught in some rain.
Yeah.
Then we go into Saturday night, the Tom Bear Memorial 8800 to win. Steel Block Bandits, 51 entries, great car count. And there is they had the Virginia Sprint Series, the Pure Stock. Myrtle, start us off. You get the Pure Stock results.
Yes, I can real quick.
We'll just start off with that.
Maybe.
If you're a Pure Stock guy and you listen to the podcast for Pure Stock,
I'm sorry, but
they had the
feature-
brace pass down. That's what it was.
Yeah, the feature isn't up for Pure Stocks. I don't know who won it.
Yeah, sorry. We did not really keep an eye on the Pure Stocks. Non-qualifier race went to Lewis Hudson. I actually put a steering rack on. Me and a buddy of mine put a steering rack on for him at Beckley last week, so good to see him get a win.
Yeah, Lewis Hudson over Joey Love, Jamie Latham, Ronnie Martin Jr., Matt Whitten, Ryan Adams, Austin Latham, Connor Morgan, and Dustin Cash, and Stephen Harrison. Runs like top 10.
All right, well, Steve. I mean, he was in a 602, so.
Hey, he gave it his run
Funny
for the
story.
money.
He actually showed up to the track without a car, and a guy said, "Hey, where's your car at?" And he said, "Oh, I was just gonna relax tonight." I handed it $150 and said, "Go get it." And he went and got his car, so he ended up racing.
Hey, wouldn't you if you had a free entry fee?
Yeah, I mean the non-qualifiers race is $125 to start it, so
Got his money.
might as well. I mean, if you made the race, you get $800. If you didn't, you still got $125, and your entry fee was paid. So.
Yeah, I'd do it.
That being said, so a little side note, sprints. Do you have the results on that?
I do. Darren Bolak, 44V, took the win over Gerald Harris, Matt Mullins, Matthew Leach, Caleb Harris, Chris Ware, Aaron Lee, John Smith, and Dylan Schultzer. I think that's the guy that went for a wild ride.
Yeah, interesting story throughout the sprint race. This was right after there was a rain delay in the feature, and they re-rolled the track, and it turned out to be fast.
That went from they were running about 16-1, 16-0s in qualifying. The features they were running 14-6s to 15-0s.
So
they were rolling.
Yeah, Myrtle, I'll let you start off on what you saw from this.
Well, I saw this. I think it was at 71, the blue 71. He kept on running the top. He was catching the guy leading and kept running top, going harder and harder. I was watching lap times, and he gained a 10th every time. And then this one time he sent her off into 3, never checked her, just went to the top. And next thing you know, he is flying through the air off the backside of 3 and 4. I thought he was about to take us down with the fence.
Yeah, he was coming straight to the outside pits, and where Tyler Barrett and Larry Ramsey park, their reserve parking spots, there probably wasn't going to be parking spots anymore if there wasn't a banking that stopped him.
Or if he'd hit the ground before he hit the banking.
Yeah.
Like he stayed about that far off the ground, if YouTube see it. But about 2-3 feet off the ground the entire way as soon as he came off, and the first thing he hit was the bank. If he'd have hit anything before that.
the ground, he'd have been tumbling and rumbling.
and we've been running.
Yeah. Well, me and you were fine, but there was a bunch of people standing right there that would have been running.
Either running
And
or tucking.
either Larry Ramsey or Booper Bear would be calling the insurance man shortly because those trucks were getting ready to be hit.
That car, I guarantee you, was probably going 100 miles an hour plus in the air. Like, it was the wildest thing I've ever seen.
And
It was
hit
just
the bank. I've had to be a hard hit. He hit the bank a ton.
And
The bank stopped him, and he hit it hard.
And like, we were talking to Billy Beechler. He said, he was sitting in the air long enough to realize this is going to hurt.
Yeah, and he was.
He was floating in the air for a while.
Yeah, I had enough time to think during the crash. I'm like, oh God, there goes the trucks. I mean, all of it happens so fast, but then you sit there and you watch him go off the bank, and you have enough time to think.
Like, he went off in the center of 3 and 4, and that's a long way across there.
All the way to the.
Basically the fence.
He went over the road the cars entered the track in.
And he landed on the other side of that.
Yeah, it was
I'm glad they don't stage cars right there.
He was okay, so glad to see that he was okay. My opinion, outside of the crash, I don't understand his reasoning by going so hard into the
Only
corner.
thing I could figure was the track was, of course, naturally going to slow down. Like, it was starting to dust off halfway through. I guess he thought if he didn't pass him then, he wasn't going to get a chance to.
He was consistently gaining. I think he had 2 more laps of being a consistent on the top. He would have passed him still. And I guess he must have thought what Myrtle thought and was like, I got to go and get him now. And he just tried it in there a little harder, and it did not stick at all.
I mean, I will give him credit. He had some balls of steel.
He put her in there, and
It
I
just
mean,
didn't
I saw it before he came off. I'm like, oh my gosh! Like before he came off, like that's a little hot and heavy. And he started flirting, and I'm like, oh.
It was like a.
Yeah.
Hey,
So that made it interesting. Then that told us the track was pretty fast. Then we went into the B mains. You had your heat races and B mains throughout the night. 6 heat races, 2 B mains. Myrtle, you got the.
I got the top 2 transfer. Oh yeah, speaking of B main number 1, we're talking about a car going off. Jamie Latham, Latham in the 15K in the first B main. He center in there a little too deep like a sprint car guy, but he didn't end up going quite as far. He just went straight off and backwards. But he started. Where did he start actually? He started. It ain't gonna look. But he started, I think, about 6th, only taking the top 2, and he went off the back, went to the rear, and made his way back up to 3rd after
I
going
thought
off
he was
the
going
back.
to transfer. I thought he was coming, but he just
Yeah.
ran out of laps. But with that being said, we have the feature, of course. And we have an interview with Logan. You'll hear this after our review of the race. But Logan Roberson took the win over Tyler Bear and Justin Williams. A little bit of tempers that we might have to talk about. But Myrtle, give us a rundown on the. We'll do the full. Give me a full field rundown.
Of course, Logan Roberson took a win over Tyler Barrett, Justin Williams, Russell Irwin, Tyler Arrington, Corey Gordon, Joey Level, Corey Ullman, Robbie Emery, Kenny Moreland, Samuel Bryant, Walker Arthur, David Watts, Derek Rankin, Bobby Thompson, Larry Ramsey, Michael Alderman, Billy Beechler, Josh Knipe, Matt Hildebrand, Landon
Zowski. I don't know how to say
Yeah,
your last name.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to say your last name. Jack Brown, Tyler Hoy, and Dan Brewer rounds up your top 24 or 24 car field, idiot.
So with that being said, there's a great race throughout the night. Logan took the lead off the initial start and kind of just ran away from it, but then great battle throughout the field. And Tyler Bear, it was a heat race, and he kind of got, I don't want to say screwed, it's racing, but passed for the lead in the heat race, coming to the checkers, and there's a caution. And,
All right, Mike.
you done?
Yeah, I'm good now.
Bless you.
Producer stretch.
So then we had to go back to second, and then they ran a 1 lap to the checkers, and then Tyler Arrington knew that
It was coming.
it was coming, so he just
Blocked the
blocked
bottom.
it, and then he couldn't do nothing about it. So with that being said, the feature put Tyler Bear back in the feature, and he charged up through there. And you'll hear in the interview, but Logan said, "I'm glad we didn't have a caution because I knew we would have been."
He said, "Well, I think we'd be screwed a little bit."
He said well, he was worried about that. So Tyler Bear charging up through there, but then we had a little bit of some tempers here. I don't know if there's really tempers, but it was some saying, some words.
Some words said at the
So
interview.
Justin Williams and Russell Irwin were kind of battling throughout the night. Then Tyler got in between them, and Justin said that in his interview, he said, "I saw Tyler right there," and he waved Tyler on by. So he's like, "I waved Tyler on by to just go on by," so he would get more points than Russell because it seemed like him and Russell were not getting along the whole night.
No, I mean, that's a crappy end for Russell and all those guys who are going to steal Black Bandit points, but what are you going to do?
Somebody gets mad at you, there's nothing you can do. Of course, if you're points racing, you don't want that to happen.
No.
But, I mean, it sucks, but I guess
it's
his
racing.
That's the business decision he made. And not anything that you can do about that other than just try to keep racing, I guess.
Yeah.
And obviously Russell seemed to be displeased with that at the end of the night, and Justin clearly stated that in his interview that he was displeased. It's on Steel Block Madness. They have it live if you want to. We're not just pulling stuff out of the air. It's on.
Yeah, we heard it, and it's you can go see it yourself.
Yeah, he pretty much said I waved Tyler on by so he could get more points than Russell, because I don't think Justin was happy with Russell the whole night.
Speaking of the whole race, if anybody who's listening or watching wants to watch the race themselves, go to dirtridge.tv, and I think you can still buy the subscription if you don't already have it and watch a replay of the whole event.
You can do that. Check them out on Facebook. They got some highlights posted too, so if you just want to catch the highlights, check that out. A lot of pictures from the event and other events going on. But anything else you want to add to the Tom Bear Memorial Race? I mean, great event.
It was a lot of people there, fans, pits.
Logan
everybody.
probably, in our interview with Logan, he probably does the best job running it down.
Yes.
As good as me and you could do. So
We'll let
definitely stay
y'all,
tuned to interviews.
we'll let y'all listen to what Logan has to say about it. It's
Yeah,
really
but
good
thanks to
interview.
all the sponsors that helped out on that event. Thanks to everybody that shared the last when Booper came and talked about the race. That episode did really well, so thanks to everybody for doing that. Thanks to Tyler Bear Racing for sharing that, Natural Bridge Speedway for sharing it, and then everybody else that shared it. With that being said, I think we're ready to hop into the interview. Remember to stay tuned after the interview. We'll have a giveaway. We're going to spin a wheel. We got all the people that shared on a wheel. We're going to spin it here right after the interview, and then we'll get our winner. And like I said in the beginning of the podcast, if the person would rather have the bistro, they can have that. But we'll have our winner after the Logan Roberson interview. So with that being said, let's get into it. Here's Logan. All right, we're back here on the Get to Top podcast with the Tom Bear Memorial Race winner, Logan Roberson. First off, Logan, congratulations, and I heard it was your birthday during that race, or a little bit soon or after, so happy birthday to you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was a special night, that's for sure. I've been wanting to win that race since last year because I didn't get to come to it, and I said this year, man, I want to be 100% ready for it because that race means a lot to me because I remember Papa Tom a lot running around with Tyler, and it was one of those ones I've been wanting. So we got the car 100%. Crew did a good job, and heck, it worked out for us.
Yeah, and I know there's pictures floating around the internet. It's you and Tyler and Booper, like Booper won a race, or there's pictures of both of y'all as young at the race with Booper after he won a race. Just explain your relationship with them a little bit as y'all were growing up, you and Tyler growing up, and watching your dad and Booper race.
Yeah, that's what I don't think most people know actually how close we were. I mean, hell, when I was a young kid, I practically grew up there. You know, me and Tyler ride scooters around when we were 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, and we're not now as close as we was back then, just because he's got a life now. He's got kids. He's got the farm, and I'm racing full time doing my gig. But our friendship ain't changed. We're still as close as we was, and just we run around there. My dad and Booper, they're still pretty good friends, and that's mainly for years. I mean, we were up there, practically 2 or 3 nights a week helping, and then me and Tyler start racing, and, life changes everything. But, no, I remember Papa Tom. I mean, that was a good dude right there. I mean, I remember him. I guess it's been a few years, but I got he's a funny guy, because me and Tyler, when we were young up there, man, I tell you, him and Booper used to get on to us like no other. Especially the dumb stuff we would do up there on the farm. Oh, hell, he'd have our ass.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask. I don't think I brought this up the last time, but being this is the Memorial race, and you're talking about you and Tyler's relationship, do you think that it's kind of cool? I mean, I just thought about it as you were talking, that it's kind of cool how both of y'all, I mean, as big of in a prestigious race that the Fast Track World Championship got to be, do you think it's pretty cool, and it says a lot that both of y'all were able to take a win? As many guys that came in trying to win that race, it was you and Tyler that have both won that race.
I mean, honestly, I say it says a lot about our regional racers. I'm sure everybody that is from a different area says their region is the hardest, but I think that ours is, honestly, it is the hardest of them all, because look at our guys that go out and, go to Florida, go to Georgia. I mean, Tyler can go pretty much anywhere with the Steel Black Bandits, run really good. He run really good with Lucas Oil, with the Kleinets and them. I mean, you look at, especially Walker, he's won races in Florida. When we all travel, we all seem to do very, very well. But when we're all racing against each other back home, I mean, it's a stacked field back home. And, I mean, if we can all go to other places and, win or run really, really good, then when you get back home and you get to some of these races, hell, it's some of the stiffest competition you'll probably ever see.
Right, and I want, as you talk about that, I was thinking the previous Steel Block Bandits race that was at Natural Bridge was the same top 3. I mean, it's kind of shuffled up different. Of course, you taking the win this time, but the previous Steel Block Bandits race they had was the same top 3 between you, Justin, and Tyler. So.
Yeah, no, it seems like, I guess because we all 3 growed up there, and that's where we got our laps at. That place is like no other, I think, honestly. I always said, if you can go to Natural Bridge and you can win, you can pretty much go anywhere in the country and run really decent with a crate car, just because it's so different there than everywhere else. You got to be able to steer, and you got to have traction, and it's just, you don't see many people that come in for the first time and are really fast.
Right.
And I got a question for you. Last time you ran the Steel Block Bandit race, you were in the 604, and this time you were in the Race City 525. And obviously you looked a whole lot faster and a lot better. Did you think the 525 really helped you out, or just you having that many laps around Natural Bridge made that much of a difference?
Man, I'll be honest with you, I was scared. I was scared to death that I wasn't going to be no good, because I didn't know how our cars would react with, a big motor in them, and I don't think hardly nobody's ever done it. And it was just it was a deal to where I think it was either going to be really good or really bad. And shoot, it was honestly, it impressed the hell out of me. I was like, man, this thing's really, really good. So I think that due to motor and car, it was easy to drive. I mean, it was practically effortless. So I think anybody could have got in it, probably did really good.
So I want to ask about obviously there was a weather delay and the rain came in. They got the race in. How much of a difference do you think that made to the night overall? Mainly it was just the feature, but how much of a difference do you think it made for the feature?
I mean, to be honest with you, I think that was the best thing that ever happened. It was really, really racy. I mean, I wish I'm really, really, really happy Tyler had to start 11th because I think we'd probably be throwing sliders the whole race, and he'd be putting me under a lot of pressure if he started in the top 5.
Right.
He was really, really good, and that's what we was talking about after the race. I was like, man, I'm glad he didn't start up there near me up close, because he could have probably pressured me, and it would have been a hell of a race.
Right. I did think it made it really racy in my opinion. But with that being said, Merle, you got anything? So let's. Do you want to thank any sponsors or any people that helped you with this event? Especially, I know we talked to you earlier in the year, but anybody you want to thank for this event and helping you get the win this weekend?
Yeah, obviously all of Tyler's family, they put their heart and soul into that race. I mean, it's really, really cool. I mean, it's pretty much doubles, the weekly fan count that they have and the pit people. It almost doubles because of this race, and just everybody that sponsored that event. We really do appreciate it because it helps us get up and down the road. I mean, I got tires, tape, rivets, goodie boxes. I kept getting money. Lori kept bringing me money for this, for that, and I was like, man, this is awesome. Like, it seemed like for everything you did, there was a $100 reward for it, or $300 or $500. So it definitely helps us get up and down the road. But got to thank all of them, and then obviously Mom, my dad, my grandpa, Gunner's Honey, Clary's Used Cars, New Point Lighting and Designs, Pro Fabrications, Race City Performance, Bill Steen, ML Performance, Excess Battery, Dynamic Driveline, Kaiser Wheels. Just there's a lot of people in my car, and if it wasn't for every one of them, I couldn't race like I do.
Well, one more question before I let you go. I thought about it while you were talking. What's the rest of the season look like for you? You going to go back to some crate racing, or you think you're going to throw that 525 around somewhere?
Honestly, I took the day off, and I said, man, I was thinking about what I was going to do, and I think I'll run a couple more with the 525, but I'll mainly stick to the crate stuff.
All right, well, sounds good, and good luck for the rest of the season, and congratulations again, and thank you for coming on today, Logan.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Have a good one.
See y'all.
See ya.
Yeah.
That was Logan Roberson, the Tom Bear Memorial Race winner. I think that's all we got.
Wait a sec.
What you got, Merle?
The Walker's interview that I had at the race.
Oh, yeah, Walker Arthur won. We'll put that in. I know we record the merge and stuff, so we'll put that in when we talk about Tom's race.
All right.
So we'll do that. So we'll just end the podcast here. And, we got a little more recording to do, but with that being said, we got producer that telling us something. What is it?
Giveaway.
Oh, yeah, we got our giveaway. I might have to clip that in because I haven't had the wheel set up. But thanks for producer setting us up over here. I'll get the giveaway. I will clip that in here at the end. So we're not in the podcast. Just thank you for Logan coming on.
Yeah.
And we'll be back at the end of the podcast. So we're going to record a little bit more, and we'll be back. Well, we'll be back in a minute. I got to stop the recording. All right, we'll be back. Well, producer Stretch just cued us in. We're here at the end of the podcast. That was Logan Roberson interview. Of course, we ran down Tom Bear Memorial Race. Ran down Knoxville Nationals. Previewed what's coming up this week. Did our pick'em. So a good episode altogether. But we do have one piece of business left to take care of. Before we do that, I want to re-thank our sponsors again. Thank you for S&S Seal Coat Driveway Repair, Jennings Property Solutions, Smith Farm Equipment Repair, and J. Edward Groom with Long and Foster Real Estate. Thank you for everybody sharing and supporting the podcast.
By the way, if you're watching the YouTube side, they'll be right about here, above our heads.
Sponsors.
The sponsors will. If you see their number and want to reach out to one of us about helping them out or looking around them on Facebook, you can do that as well.
And if you need to talk to us about what they do or something,
Please give us a shout. We'll answer at any time.
We'll either hook you up with them or explain a little bit about them. So, just a huge thank you to them. With that being said, our giveaway went to, I joked with him all week. And I said, I guess I'll enter you for sharing it as an At Your Bridge page runner. And he shared it. and he won. Trevor Cash, he gets the gift card giveaway. I'll talk to him wherever he wants it. But congratulations to Trevor. Yeah, that's all I got. I'll talk to him. I think it's rigged, Trevor. It's rigged. You did something that's not right. So, with that being said, Trevor, enjoy your date night. With that being said, I think that's it for the podcast. We'll see you next week. Hopefully our pick 'em finally ends. Myrtle, sign us out.
I'll see y'all next week.